Good evening and welcome to HFR News. I am Tom Broeknow. A recent survey by CNN on Twitter suggested that 38% of Americans will not buy Corona beer for its fear of connection to coronavirus. And these people are allowed to vote. You can't make this shit up. So, moving on to entertainment news. We have just gotten breaking news that Rocky 17 will begin filming shortly. And Rocky will face an old opponent, Apollo Creed. Apollo has not appeared for several... What's that? It's not Apollo Creed? Who is it? Victor Creed? Who's Victor Creed? Research told me it was Apollo Creed. Are they like brothers or something? No. How about the other guy, the big Russian? He looks like he could pull off the big tiger thing. Him? No? Unavailable? Okay. All right. Well, forget it. Forget it. Forget it. Roll the intro again. Roll the intro. Thank you for joining us again for HFR News. Breaking news in the entertainment world. Victor Creed has reneged on his contract to appear as the villain in Rocky 17. When Sylvester Stallone was reached at his home for comment, he said, "It doesn't really matter. There's idiots who think coronavirus and beer are connected. They will pay for anything that I make. And besides, that dude is a big pussy anyways." So there you have it. We'll be right back. Hey, if you enjoy what I do, please hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell to receive notices next time I post a video. Hey, what's up, people? If you didn't check it out, I've got a unboxing video from the other day of this guy, Sideshow Sabertooth, and today we're doing the review. So I appreciate you joining me today. We'll jump right into it. First up is concept. So concept, what did the artist have in his mind's eye intended for the piece? I think he was going for a very ferocious looking saber-tooth, a very dangerous looking saber-tooth, and I like it. I think he pulled it off. You often see saber-tooth on a snow base as he's from Canada. So we're going to talk about that, a bad Canadian accent. So you often see the snow base. It's a common theme, but there's a lot of things that I think they executed very well in the design of it and his concept of it. Having this log incorporated in there with the slash marks, love it. It's a 3 pattern, so tells me Wolverine. The concept of the pose, he gets a lot of flack for the arch back, but I actually like it. I think it's a very intimidating, cat-like looking pose with his arms flared back. Just to me, signifies aggression and that he's about to pounce on his prey. So I like it. The combination of these talons with what they did on the gloves and the pose is just primal, animalistic goodness. I love it. I love it. The side patches here, look like they're stitched in. The boots are all completely stitched there. So that, I don't know if it was why they did it or not, but what that lent itself to was an excellent way to hide the neck seam. They got this stitching around here. So in concept, if they did that to go, hey, I can hide all my arm seams very well, I think it's brilliant. So as far as overall concept, he's on snow, he's in the woods, he's in a menacing pose. A lot of that is not original, it's not groundbreaking, but sometimes simple is good. So I was very tempted to give it a 10, but I'm going to go with a score of 9 for concept. Next up is construction. How well is he built? How well did the factory execute what the artist had in mind? If you check out my unboxing video, you'll see he keys in very nicely into the base, very easy, sits very flush, very well designed and keyed in there. The magnets on the arms are extremely strong, some of the best I've seen. No criticisms there whatsoever. The heads seam in nicely. Again, the seam construction, magnet there, rock solid. I mean, you could shake this dude around. He is not going anywhere. So, with that said, there's really not a whole lot to talk about with construction other than it is extremely well done. Score of 10. Sculpt. The sculpt of the base is solidly done. I like it. There's some things that they chose to do with the sculpt that I think are very cool, very well done. Something I actually just noticed after having it for a couple days is this long foot imprint here. Like he slid back and piled up this snow here. I actually didn't catch that to start with, but that is a very cool sculpt feature that's just a little subtle. Like I said, I've looked at it for time and time again, and just now caught it. The skull in there. Again, the tree is excellently sculpted. The slash marks, the way that you can see the bark and all in the slash marks is excellent. All of this detailing here, excellent. The subtle wrinkles that he has in this, you got a skin tight enough to show off all this musculature here, but these little subtle wrinkles they put in are just so important to a sculptor. It just sells that this is fabric and not body paint, to the character. Just A+ on that. The little subtle, you see the pulls of the wrinkles there. Very well done. Sculpting. Both my sister-in-law and my wife have commented on his rear end, and they give it an A+. So he's got that going for him. Which is nice. The gloves, much like Hawkeye, that the boots were the highlight of the show, these things are friggin' awesome. Absolutely love them. Just the detailing and the wrinkling of the gloves, where his fingers bowed back, and the creasing of the gloves there. The nails just look like they would rip your face off. This huge talon, just everything about this says, primal animal, don't mess with me, I am going to mess you up. So, wow. This section right here is just the highlight of the show for me. Onto his head sculpt is exceptionally well done. The tongue and teeth and just the skin. He has like a scar even on his lip there. Everything about it is fantastic. The eyebrows, the whatever you call the cowl thing around his face, his sideburns there, his hair, everything is just A+. Exceptionally well done. The sculpt of the exclusive is also exceptionally well done. Zero criticisms. I think it is A+ on both of those sculpts. I also like the variation in that one, you've got attack mode that he looks very animalistic, and then the sinister, I'm about to tear you a new one look with this one. So very cool sculpts, like them both. So my criteria for ratings is, what would I change about it? It gets a ding if there's something that I would do better. There's nothing I could say, man, they should have changed that and done this a different way. And for that reason, like construction, Sculpt also gets a 10. Next up, we have paint. So let's start at Sabertooth himself, the positives. The body suit, the leather here, the gloves, the texture that they used on the talon to make it shine and be separate from the brown look here to here. You got a lot of brown on this statue that could very easily, details could get lost. They're not. Paint job on his body is fantastic. One of the best I've seen. I think it is excellent. The paint on the mane itself, I personally would have put a little bit more of a brownish, light brown wash in there. You can see it a little bit, but it's very, very subtle. Ding. I've got little dark brown speckles all over this leg right here. There's probably 10 to 12 of them. I've tried to scratch them off, but I don't want to damage the good paint, so some sloppiness there. All right, where we have some issues is the paint on the base. A few things that I don't like here. One being where the snow meets the rocks here is kind of a dirty, dingy look to it. I don't know if you can see this here, and I'll show in photos. In my opinion, if they were going for the dirty, dingy snow area, they should have done more of it. They should have made it very clear that that's what they were going for. Another miss is what I think is overspray on the paint on where the snow meets the log here. The wife said the exact same thing. She immediately walked up and said, "Oh, he's cool," and was checking it out. And she goes, "Ooh, they oversprayed the paint there." So if they're intending this to look like frost, which it actually does here on this bark, but it just reads to me like that they got sloppy with the paint. So either it's sloppiness or it's not really well executed in what they were trying to do. He actually has very cool that he has like frost white on the back sides of his shoes, heel there, and on the sole of the shoes, like it's picked up frost. That's a very cool little subtle feature I didn't immediately pick up. So, paint overall. There are some very, very impressive things about the paint job that are some of my favorite in any statue that I own. These gloves are, I don't think it can be topped. These were just executed so well. 12. 12 out of 10 there. Enough dings, the dirt, this, splotches here, and I would have done a little bit of wash there. Paint's going to get dinged a little bit. I'm going to give it a score of 8. So lastly, we have presence. What does he look like on the shelf? Are your eyes drawn to it whenever you walk into the room? I would say the answer to that is yes. My eyes would be immediately drawn to it. He's imposing. He's a bright color mostly. These talons, people would immediately pick up on that. The costume is just so well done. He carries a very dangerous presence about him. I asked the missus, and she said, he's one of the top ones you've got. And so I value her opinion as somebody that's not really a Marvel fan of, what the average Joe would think about this. But I think there's also consideration of what does a statue look like from 5 feet away, and what does it look like once somebody gets up and looks at it. She immediately picked up the overspray of the paint, immediately. So the flaws that it does exhibit, even though they're few on close inspection, I can't give it a 10, even though it's going to be one that I look at whenever I walk into the room. For the flaws that it has, though they be minor, I've got to go with a 9 on the score for presence. So, really impressed with the piece. Very happy. I know it's an acquired taste. A lot of people don't like it, but hey, that's what's cool about being a collector. We've got choices. We've got customs we can choose. There's been several Sabertooths out recently. If you don't like this one, go for another one, but I love it. I think it's a solid addition to my collection. Very happy with it. We ended up with a collective score of 46 for him. So thanks for watching again. If you enjoy the content, please hit that like, subscribe, and the notification bell so that you get notifications whenever I release the next video. Hope you enjoyed today's review of Sideshow Sabertooth, and until next week, take care.